Now y'all know I be on my game and stuff, right? So I felt like coming on here, man, to let y'all know what it's like for a nerd when they are locked up. And it's kind of crazy what made me want to do this video. You know what I'm saying? But you already know I'm going to break it down for y'all in the middle of it and let y'all know, right? And one thing I will say is, when it comes to going to prison, you're running all types of people in there, man. You never know what type of bunkie you're going to get. And me, personally, I'd love to have a nerd in my room. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this, man, so y'all can know what it's like for a nerd on the other side of them gates. Let's do it. Same time of the week, better be there. Have my people send a message, make sure that it's there. Time for me to collect, bring the shit over here, cause you can tell them my face, don't make me come over there. I'll run up in your room, put my shank in your neck, swear to God I wet you up, better show me respect. I'm hitting licks like nothing, break bread with dogs. Putting on for east side, David, this Kfrog, it's a robbery. Heard what I said, I got some names I won't say. Most of them dead, for that tune you get there's a price on your head. Take the shit out your locker, throw it all on my bed. You got a daughter back you up, on care what you click. 2 lockers to fit both y'all shit. See me in the cut jamming, smoking the rip, getting tatted with the money that your people are sent. See on the streets I would've bust you, but in prison I come cut you. What's up, y'all? You already know, man. Kfrog TV back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor, man. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back, y'all. Today I'm going to be telling y'all what it's like for nerds inside of prison. And there's a lot that comes with this video, okay? Now, everybody's going to have a different opinion of what they, think a nerd is and what they consider a nerd, right? But for some reason, people consider somebody who plays video games, which is what I do, often, they consider that as a nerd. And I want to let y'all know what it's like for them type of people inside of prison. Now, before I do get into it and break it down and give y'all the straight, nerd guide that you need to know inside of prison, I want to let y'all know what gave me the idea of doing this video, all right? And it's kind of crazy. Okay, well, like I've been told y'all, I like to play video games. Y'all see my gaming PC right here behind me. I be on Kfrog Gaming. I haven't really streamed on there, but yesterday, I ain't been on there in about a month. You know what I'm saying? But I will let you know that I do spend a lot of time, in GameStop, buying games for my kids, me, whatever. Anything new comes out, we get it, all right? Because one thing I will let y'all know, when you're an entrepreneur and you're self-employed, everything's a tax write-off. You feel me? But anyways, what made me want to do this video, believe it or not, is when I was inside of GameStop, the dudes that work behind the counter see me so much. They know what I do for a living besides gaming. They know about the prison channel. And they said, man, you should let people know what it's like for nerds like me inside of prison. And that just, bing, put a light bulb up in my head and make me realize, like, damn, I do got to explain for the nerds out there what it's like for them type inside of prison, okay? One thing I will let y'all know is nerds be kind of cool sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And of course, everyone thinks when you hear the word prison and you hear the word nerds, you look at it like, well, it's common sense. A nerd won't last inside of prison. Because when you think of prison, you think of hard, harsh, violent, savage. And when you hear nerd, you think of soft, scary. You know what I'm saying? So you think that, they might have a bad trip inside of prison. I'm here to let you know that isn't always the cause, okay? If you're a nerd, you find yourself in prison, all you have to do is be yourself. Literally, that's it. And 9 times out of 10, people are gonna need you more than you would think, and they will actually be cooler with you than other people who aren't being themselves. Somebody that goes to prison that isn't a nerd, that is just a regular person that thinks they're cool, thinks they're a badass, that's acting too hard, is going to have a harsher experience inside of prison than a nerd who's himself, okay? I don't know about y'all, but me, I'd rather have a smart motherfucker in my room. I'd rather have a nerd as a cellmate than a dumbass. Tell me if y'all disagree or not. It's common sense, you know what I'm saying? And for the ones that try to act so hard, or the ones that think they're something they're not, compared to someone who is a nerd, who is themselves, who don't know no better, who pushes that energy off like they shouldn't be inside of prison, them people who act like that are definitely going to have a worse bid than a nerd, okay? Nobody's in there like, oh, he's a nerd, let me go pick on him. Or he's a nerd, I'm going to rob him. Or he's a nerd, it's time to extort him. Don't get me wrong, it does happen. And it can happen, you know. It's not like it isn't possible. You see what I'm saying? But you can never forget that people lose cool points and don't gain no cool points when they pick on somebody who is very weak. You understand? If someone's the toughest dude in the dorm and he's picking on the weakest link inside of that place, everybody that looks at him isn't gonna, like, you know, he's not gonna get no brownie points for that. Everyone else is gonna look at him like he's soft. Like, out of everybody he could have did shit with, he decided to do it to a nerd. And it's crazy when you think about it, because it's like, at the end of the day, there's so many other targets out there. There's so many other people out there that aren't nerds that have worser bids. It's because they try to be someone they're not, okay? When you need help with certain things, you might be locked up and you need to figure out how to do certain stuff. Book smart things that you ain't really gonna have the knowledge to figure out. Who you gonna go ask for help? A gang member who you don't really know? Or somebody who acts like somebody they're not? Or a nerd? A nerd is who you're gonna end up asking. That's who's gonna help you get through what you have to get through. You understand? And I can't recall a time that somebody picked on someone inside of prison all because they were a nerd. You feel me? I can't recall that. Me, I know people get picked on inside of prison, but I feel like nerds can make it through prison with less drama than someone who wants to act tough. Because there's always someone out there that's going to try to call your bluff. There's always someone out there that wants to prove you're not as bad as them. There's everybody that wants to be the alpha. And when you got a place that's filled with a bunch of alphas, all that can happen is, you know, everyone's going to go at each other's throats like this and to show who's the toughest. A nerd is out of the mix. They're over there looking, reading books inside the library, getting things, you know, focusing on surviving. And in all reality, they're the ones that are the furthest away from being in harm's way. You see what I'm saying? And every time I came across somebody in prison who was considered a nerd, it was cool as hell to talk to them. You know, they would bring me, you know, outside these walls with the stories they would tell me. They'd tell me certain things. You know, a video game can open up the biggest conversation. And it made me feel like I was not in prison at that moment that I talked to them individuals. You see what I'm saying? And as long as they are who they, you know, are, they have nothing to worry about. You understand? There's people that been in prison for decades. There's people that are going to remain in prison for decades. You know, nerds being so smart and knowing certain things make it to where they're teaching you and telling you things about what's going on out there in the world. They're helping people. And it's like you're getting knowledge when you're learning from these people who are considered nerds. But someone that's a nerd is smart. 9 times out of 10, it's very rare that you find a dumbass that's a nerd. You know what I'm saying? He's called a nerd for a reason. You feel me? And one thing that I'm pretty sure that way more people would like than not like is to have video games inside of prison. If you think about it, you know, if you got put inside of prison and they gave everybody legit consoles and, you know, state prison, you know, in certain feds you can get stuff like that. But I'm saying if they gave everybody video game systems and video games and stuff like that, people would love it so much that the damn, you know, it ain't gonna stop the crimes that are being committed inside of prison, you know, but people are gonna start robbing and harming people to get those video games. You see what I'm saying? That's what would happen. It would just cause a whole bunch of ruckus and confusion. You feel me? But when it comes down to it, if you're somebody who likes those type of things and you're a nerd, don't ever be scared to land in prison. You understand? At the end of the day, what don't kill you makes you stronger. But you can get killed inside of prison. But if you're someone that likes the game, or you're someone that, you know for a fact you're a nerd and you shouldn't be around the type of people that you find yourself inside of prison, don't commit no crimes. Don't hang out with people that, you know, can lead you to being, you know, an accomplice to land inside of prison or anything like that. Because if you land inside of prison, you're going to feel like it's the worst place in the world because it's not what you're used to. You understand? You're used to gaming all the time. Now that you can't game all the time and you can't read comics and be all on, you know, up to date on the newest systems that are coming out and things that nerds do, since you can't do that, that's what's going to make prison feel so
harsh to you. You understand? But there's always ways around certain things. You can get comic books sent in. You can get different reading materials and different stuff like that. When I was locked up, I was getting all these Ninja Turtle type books sent in there and shit, and I was letting people in the dorm read them, and they was loving it. People who didn't even watch Ninja Turtles, people who were street dudes that were real deal like gangsters that sold dope their entire life, that didn't have time to play video games, was reading those Ninja Turtle books. You understand? Was in there hanging out, loving them books, because they know it gets your mind outside of what you got to deal with on a day-to-day basis. You understand? And like I said, I'd rather have a nerd as a bunkie than someone who isn't a nerd. You know, like if I had to choose a gang member, someone that wasn't a gang member that acted tough, or someone that was tough that wasn't a gang member, or a nerd, I swear on everything, y'all, I'd pick a nerd for a bunkie, because I'm going to pick his brain. And I'm going to learn things from him. He's going to be teaching me things. You know, I'm going to ask questions about shit. And he ain't even going to know how wise he's making me. You understand? It's kind of like you're going to have your own damn Google inside of your cell. You need to know a question about something, you ask him. Hey, man, what's up with such and such, with making that such and such 2 years ago? And he's going to be like, well, you know, due to the simple fact that this and this and this, I hope they don't really, you know, he's going to come out with like a weird, you know, explanation of breaking it down. But that shit's going to be, you know, wisdom. That's going to be straight up intelligent, you know, wisdom that he's throwing at you. You feel me? And I get a lot of comments and shit from people who are like, oh, you know, I'm not living like that. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a troublemaker. You know, I don't really have no friends. I stay to myself. And, you know, if I ever found myself in prison, I want to know what to do. Your videos help me, you know, want to stay away from those type of things. And I understand that's great. Nobody should want to go to prison. You understand? Nobody should want to experience it. Even if it was the softest shit in the world, or if it was the toughest place and you see if you want to make it. You should never want to, like, voluntarily go there. You understand? And not everybody that lands there is dumb. You know, some people get caught up, wrong place, wrong time, and there's plenty of people that land in prison that are innocent. You know what I'm saying? That literally didn't do anything and landed inside a prison. It's like that. You feel me? But if you are a nerd and you find yourself inside a prison, my advice to you is these few things, okay? One, just continue to be yourself, okay? That's it. Just be yourself no matter what you do. Wake up every day on a day-to-day basis and act the way that you normally act. You feel me? That's it. Just be yourself. And 9 times out of 10, you should be okay. 2, don't overthink, okay? Don't think the worst, and don't be so paranoid and act like something's gonna happen and show you're vulnerable and you're scared, or act like you know something's on its way to harm you. You know, don't do none of that. You feel me? 3, keep being a nerd. You know, keep doing things that you'd like to normally do. Go to the library, rent books, read things, you know. You can get things sent in the mail from your family, you know, so you could get crossword things sent in the mail. You can get Sudoku challenged books, crossword puzzles, all word searches. You can get anything like that. Anything you like, you can get. You understand? Sign up for stuff in school. Continue to use your intelligence. Keep doing smart stuff, okay? What will get you a real long way and make people be cool with you if you are a nerd inside a prison is sign up to be a GED teacher. Sign up to be someone that teaches people who aren't really good with their education to continue their education. You feel me? Teach them how to continue it and help them pass and get their diplomas while they're in there. Okay? And I guarantee you, ain't no one finna mess with you if you got all these stone cold gangsters and killers and gang members that are in your class and you're teaching them how to get their diploma. You think they're just gonna allow someone to just harm you for no reason? Knowing you're not the problem, that's just people trying to pick on you? Hell no, them dudes are gonna stand up and back you. You feel me? Because that education means something to them. You know, you can become friends with a lot of people just because of how smart and what you're trying to teach them. You understand? Some people are in that gangster life because they had no choice and they got to keep it going with the flow. That's all they ever known. But they're not dumb. They know the difference from a smart person who's considered a nerd or a dumbass. You feel me? And like I said, if you go to school and you start teaching other people who aren't as good at math as you are, or who don't know as much as history and science as you do, and you teach them, I guarantee you, man, you'll make way more friends than somebody who goes in there that tries to, you know, act like they're living like that. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? And when you want to, like, get your mind off of being inside a prison and just, you know, keep your mind on the nerd shit or whatever it is nerds like to do, You know, you can get on cell phones, you know, you can call your family and they can play whatever you want to hear over the phone, or get on cell phones. You see things on FaceTime, and you're going to see other people in there who are nerds, who, you know, click up. You know, you will see two people walking around that both like Dungeons and Dragons. You'll see two people over here walking around that love, you know, Rick and Morty, and they love talking about video games and stuff like that. You know, you will see the people that put off the same type of vibe as you are. Trust me, a nerd can peep another nerd, just like a gang member can peep if that dude's in his gang or a different gang. A nerd can do the same thing, you understand? But the number one thing you gotta do when you are a nerd in order to survive inside a prison is to just be yourself. I'm telling you. And you'll be like, damn, I made it through such a harsh place just by being cool, calm, and collective, staying casual like I always been. I never really had any problems. And you'll see that you'll stay out of harm's way more than if you try to act like you're not a nerd. You understand? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Some people land in prison that don't deserve to be there, okay? And a lot of times it be nerds. They're around people at the wrong place, but some nerds do commit crimes and shit happens, and, you know, they snap and they commit charges amongst themselves as well. You see what I'm saying? But when they find themselves locked up, a lot of them tend to put themselves in a shell. And I literally feel like you'll make it a whole lot farther if you just went with the flow. You know what I'm saying? There's so much stuff you can do. You know, if you found a lifer in there, somebody that's been inside a prison, let's say 30 years. He ain't been on the streets since the damn 80s. Okay, let's say that. Say he ain't been on the streets since like the 80s. Let's go like 40 years, way back, right? And he meets you and y'all are in the cell with him, and you start teaching him about certain things he's never even heard of. Telling him about certain video games that came out. Yeah, you might think, well, it's going to piss him off because he's never going to get out to experience them things. No, he's going to be so in tuned and enlightened to learn about these things that a nerd is teaching him. You see what I'm saying? And I wanted to make this video for the people at GameStop, you know, that wanted me to, but also for the people who admit that they are like that they are nerds, okay? And I'm gonna be real with you. A nerd is the cool thing these days, you feel me? Literally. Think about it. If you got kids, do you want your kid to be the toughest, the baddest kid in the school, a bully? Or do you want him to be a straight A student, someone that's getting degrees and trying to work his way into getting scholarships? Who does that? 9 times out of 10, nerds. Other people do it also, but who do you know does it and passes it with flying colors? Nerds. You understand? The nerds are the cool guys these days. And when all them gangsters are locked up, committing all them crimes, and you find your ass behind them walls, who's your old lady leaving you for? Not another person like you, because she don't want to worry about not being stable. She's not going to really leave a gangster and a gang member and a thug for another gangster, gang member, or thug. No, it'd be them nerds. It'd be them green beans on the streets that be settling down and putting that ring on your old lady's finger and showing her that she could do better than you. You see what I'm saying? So I want to do this video to let y'all know how it is for nerds inside of prison. And that's what I got for you. If you're somebody that considers yourself a nerd, drop it in the comment section. If you've never been locked up, let people know. Ask questions. People answer questions inside of my comments. But if you are a nerd and you've been locked up, then tell people how your experience was, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, like I said, nerds are winning. You feel me? Gaming saved me. I probably would have been back in the chain gang if it wasn't for gaming and me doing this video shit right over here. Because believe it or not, before I was doing the YouTube when I first came home, I was gaming. I had Game Informer magazines and everything being sent to me while I was in prison. You see, so I was upped on it. You know what I'm saying? That shit kept me out of trouble on the streets. If I could name 7 to 10 situations right now of homeboys that I had that I grew up with that are either dead or locked up right now, it would be I wasn't there due to the fact that I was at the house streaming or I was on the game. I mean, bro, at the end of the day, that shit saved me. You know, it kept me out of the streets. You know, it keeps me out of trouble. And I'm thankful for gaming. I'm so in tune with the new graphics and the new stuff that comes out so much. You understand? I'm into it now. Before I went to prison, I never even owned a computer before. I got out of prison, and in order to do this Kfrog TV, I had to get my first laptop. You know what I'm saying? My first laptop I had to get. You feel me? And I got that, and from there, I done went everywhere. I got a $25,000 gaming setup right here behind me, and I know so much different stuff now. Why? Because I learned it by paying attention to nerds. You understand? That's why nerds are very important in this world. You feel me? Believe it or not. And I'm thankful to learn the things that I have learned. You know what I'm saying? And there's always somebody out there way smarter than you. And I just wanted to come on here and share this with y'all. Let y'all know what to expect if you're a nerd and you find yourself locked up. But like I said, the comment section's there. Y'all drop in there what y'all think. Let me know y'all's opinion. I gave y'all mine and gave y'all the guide of the certain things you need to do in order to survive inside a prison when you are considered a nerd. But that's all I got, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all already know, like I always say, make sure you keep them rats, squares, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, and clout chasers out your circle. Until next time, this the one and only. I am my team, Frog.
I'm a criminal, I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though.
I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though, cause I'm a criminal, yeah, I'm a criminal.